Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Shikar. The crowd goes wild. They all chant, Gabe, 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 and bronze. Hello, welcome to the third and last of our one-shots. It has been 3 weeks since I've sat here with Gabe and chatted, and this adventure promises to be an interesting one, but I forgot a very important set piece in the other room because I was playing with it for a Twitter video. So I'm going to let Gabe talk real quick while I run and go get it.
Hey y'all, I'm Gabe. I don't know what the hell's gonna happen tonight. Anything could go wrong, and it probably will. So if you're expecting me to make good choices, take that thought, throw it the hell out the window. I'm here for a Druid time, not necessarily a long time. What does that mean? I don't know either, but I guess we'll sure as hell find out. I've got a perfect balance of backstory and chaos, and then Jasmine's going to take that balance that I have and kick it with steel-toed boots to become something completely unexpected. It's like magic, but she kicks my backstory and turns it into.
What? I'm not going to do that.
Wait, you can hear me?
Yep.
Jasmine's so great. So great. Great storyteller. Really nice eyelashes. Oh, look at Kirby. What? There's no way. Are you getting a drink or something? There's no way you're still getting a mini. Oh, now she can't hear me. Shade. Shade.
Thank you for buying me time.
Oh my God. My pleasure.
I panicked and misplaced the terrain for today's game, but
What?
I found it again.
That's okay. What the hell do you mean terrain?
I also left your mini in the other room from that funny Twitter video I made.
Oh yeah, where you knocked me over with an ogre.
I really need to finish painting them. I've painted all of the NPCs before you guys. It's not fair. It's wrong with me, and I must change my ways.
You just expect us to die? Is that why you didn't paint us?
Basically.
Don't say right.
I need a cup of tea. Can I have a cup of tea, please? Okay, sorry. Put in my order with my magical elephant. Deity. We're not attractive enough for Josephine. It was the slip of the tongue.
No, it's fine. That's like it's okay. Xander's the, as Jasmine called, the gay one. Last episode of Pride. Josephine, you're the talented one. Balvin is Balvin. He's got good hair, and I'm the pretty one. I'm like Justin Timberlake, except I'm not gonna abandon you all to go make my own band. So
That's true. Please don't abandon us to make your own band.
No,
I don't think the cast has seen Balvin with braids.
No, I saw his stream.
So next week
amazing.
is when everyone gets to see Balvin with braids.
Yeah. See, this is my trick. I just wanted a whole bunch of people to say that they thought Balvin was an eye candy so I could screenshot it and send it to him. You've been had.
Yeah. He's going to get like super awkward about that.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to DM it to him directly after we get off the show.
Yeah. One time we did a game together with like a bunch of other streamers, and the ladies kept talking about his voice. Like, his voice, that's a man. Like that type of stuff. And it was really funny to witness.
Whenever it gets real late, if I've been talking all day, my voice drops down to like this, like the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I've had people like my friends would like call me late at night just to hear that voice. And I'm like, this is fucking weird. Stop it. Go do something else.
Your friends, huh?
Yeah, well, they were friends. Shut up, Jasmine. My phone's on silent, Jasmine.
I better be, because otherwise I'm not gonna let you go. You know me with the call outs. I'm always on top of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The Balvin effect. That's what I'm gonna call it anytime anyone hits on me, like randomly.
The Balvin effect.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome if it's your first time here. This is the first in our series of one-shots to celebrate our players hitting level 3. Some people say
The
level...
third?
Huh?
You said the first. This is the third.
Is it the third? I keep saying that. This is what got me in trouble with Josephine. For those of you who don't know, behind the scenes, I said the first in our series of attractive people playing D&D. And... I keep Josephine, I keep doing it. It's not, you know. that is a Balvin thing.
Like, I'm killing it, bro. Like, look at me. Look at me. It's made for this camera.
You know what, though? He kind of deserves it after that whole, like, hi, I'm Gabe.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is like the sweetest revenge for the, hi, I'm Gabe. And I play, like, yeah, this is the best. This is the best. I love it. Oh, man. So great to be at a table with you again, Gabe.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes. We're so excited. Did you introduce yourself and your character?
No, I did not. That's important. Hi, I'm Gabe Hicks. You might know me as Gabe James Games across the internet. I do cosplay, voiceover, and game design. And today, I'm playing Valym, the half-elf druid who has a gigantic snake that is in a magical staff of his, and it is not a euphemism.
Yep. Just like that. And I'm that bronze girl, and I'm playing the DM.
There you are.
And this stream is a D&D 5th edition game that is largely homebrewed. I guess though the setting's homebrewed, but the rules for the most part are rules as written, except for the stuff that I think I can improve upon, which I then do with expeditiousness.
What's happening? And
we're sponsored by Roll20. So thank you to the wonderful folks over at Roll20 for, I like how I said this like it was the fake name, but it's not, for sponsoring our wonderful little show. Roll20 is a free virtual tabletop. So if you want to play games like this one, Roll20 is a perfect place to house your character sheets, your session notes, your maps, handouts, all of that. Yeah. So thank you to our wonderful sponsors at Roll20 for helping keep this going. I don't know why I'm bopping my shoulders up and down. It's because I did pull-ups yesterday and everything's sore. So I'm gonna be doing all kinds of this type of stuff because it was bench press and pull-up day, and the entire upper region is sore.
I want to do an obstacle course with you.
I'm pretty strong.
I don't expect to win. I just want to do it.
Oh, I'm not agile, though. You will win. But I think it would be fun. Yeah, I think it would be fun to do it. I'm not, like, fast, but I am strong. I wish I was fast. You know? I'm just strong, though, which is...
So we'll fuse together and become Gabriel, and then we'll be fast and strong.
Yes. And then we'll be like a superhero.
Yeah.
Like the you know what? I was about to go full Batman Beyond. The comic series.
We're better than that, Jasmine.
I know.
Because when it gets down to it,
yeah,
we go down with a fight.
That's true. In 7 months, someone's going to watch this episode and not know what we're referencing. But to those of you that were here in this crystallized moment of the internet that understand the context, you will value what great wordplay that was.
You shouldn't have let me do this.
We open. God damn it. Well, one-shots are so hard to get into character. Oh, I need paper probably to write down your dwindling health. I like how I've like made all these threats, but then like I'm probably like, it's probably nothing's gonna happen.
So you thought about the last two.
That's true. That's true.
But I'm the pretty one, so it's fine.
The ugly one. Sorry, I'm thinking Homestar Runner now. Do you know that reference?
300 punches in the face. I'll be waiting in the bushes.
Yeah. We're gonna look so good.
Emails.
So we open on a beautiful forest, most of which at one point was scarred by a very recent fire, but at this point in time has somewhat healed from these wounds inflicted upon it by a very emo child.
That's a good description.
The wildlife has slowly started returning back to this area, and we join two half-elves walking shoulder to shoulder through the or underneath the overarching fingers of the trees of the canopy. Sunlight is streaming down in beautiful cascading waves of gold, and it's the early morning hours. Breeze is very carefully braiding his long hair as he walks alongside Valym, choosing to go on foot this time rather than owl form. He ties a couple of bells into the bottom of his hair and haughtily throws his finished braid over his other shoulder so it hangs down in front and yawns sleepily at you.
Good morning.
Good morning. How did you sleep?
I slept okay. There's still too much going on in my head, and it's made sleeping a bit harder, actually.
Song tells me when people say that I should ask them if they want to talk about it. Do you wish to talk about it?
Slightly, actually. Why is it that people talk about humanity and mention things of that's not the humane thing to do? I'm not even a human. I'm not even a whole elf.
Huh. I suppose you're right. I think they think of humanity as a concept. Maybe. The idea that those that walk on two legs and live in houses possess a compassion and wisdom that is absent in animals. But really, that just betrays a misunderstanding of animals. For although nature is cruel and violent, nature also has the capacity to be caring, kind, intelligent, empathetic even.
Nature is honest. It has no reason to lie. Nature is what it is. People aren't like that. Not always. I don't get why. I haven't really lied until recently because people seemed happier when I lied or they lied to others. So I tried to pick it up, but it just felt gross.
Well, so you find dishonesty unsavourable?
Yes.
I suppose I agree. But I have also found that people who are dishonest often do not do so with intent. We lie to ourselves. A lot, actually.
Do you think? Why do you say that?
Well, I mean, look at your companions.
Hmm.
I looked into that child's eyes. I truly believe that he thinks this was an accident, believes it in his heart that this was an accident. And I guess in some ways it was. But some of that is also denial in the sense that if you came into the woods with a lantern and started to set a fire to draw attention to yourself, clearly a fire was what you intended. Even if it burned out of control, I mean, that part may have been an accident, but I don't know. It's hard to put into words. I don't hate the kid. Because Song makes mistakes like that all the time. And I believe Song also 100% thinks that it was just an accident. I didn't mean anything by it. But some of that is denial.
They do seem like they have a sense of denial, even to themselves. They have this sense of acceptance so quickly that doesn't make sense to me. They will react like doing something wrong is okay if everyone is okay in the end, but then don't take responsibility. Or we came across someone who had threatened us and had underlings of theirs try to essentially kill us. But after that person paid one of my compatriots, everything was fine. Everything was forgiven. Everything was acknowledged and forgotten. Except I didn't forget, and I still won't. I don't understand.
Well, I think that for us, we hold a debt being even. Well, it takes more. Other people
Yes.
will take less, which my father tells me is kindness.
Hmm.
But I believe in looking after yours first. I don't know, it's complicated. I'm not going to lie, though, I'm rather envious.
Of me? I'm envious of you.
No, of that mentality.
Really?
Well, yeah, I mean, the way I think, my lack of ability to rush to claim something's an accident or everything's okay. I mean, never mind. I
wish
feel
I'd
like I
been
end up
fortunate enough
hating
to be like you.
myself most days.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think being able to let things go or accept them as they are.
It would be easier.
It might cause less fights with my sisters. That's all they tell me. You need to calm down. It's not that big of a deal. Why are you so mean all the time?
I think I would be able to trust my compatriots more if I could. Because whether I tell them that or not, I've been in danger more because of them than enemies. I don't particularly care about that. I almost drowned, which is the second time I would have been submerged in water in years of my life. I was stabbed because one of them carries a cursed blade that didn't like me.
Hmm.
Hmm. I almost wish I I almost wish I was you. At
Well,
least you knew where you are in this family of yours.
I do. That's true. The top of it. But, took work to get there.
Hmm.
And I think ultimately, you will have to plumb the depths of your soul to determine what payment you'll need to hold your debt equal.
Hmm.
Which
That actually
isn't
makes sense to
easy.
me. That makes sense to me, actually. It's one of the first things that has. Maybe it'll be that man's head one day. No, that's too much. They can't afford that. I'll figure something out.
Well, they seem,
Stupid?
I was going to say close.
Oh, that one, yes.
I mean, forming such deep bonds like that, I guess, could be construed as stupid. I've
Yes,
never
I'm not
grown
sure
that
why
close to someone who I wasn't related to.
I don't know why I trust them. But I do. And that also makes me feel slightly stupid.
I mean, love is stupid. Trust is stupid. I guess that's part of this humanity that people speak of. The very same things that make us stupid also bring us the most joy. My sisters drive me crazy, but if anything were to happen to them, I would. Well,
Hmm.
I prefer not to
Yeah.
think about it.
No, I understand. I don't do well in water, and one of them fell in a well, and I went in before I realized.
Hmm.
And I remember a time I was kicked into water, kicking and screaming, and almost drowned. Terror. But that terror was outweighed by my want to see them okay this time. So it doesn't make sense. But I guess that's the point.
It does make sense. People always think things are random,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not if you think about it. If I were to place a drop upon a leaf, I could tell from the grooves in the leaf, from the direction of the wind, which way that drop of water would go.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes things are a bit predestined. Don't you find it odd that you, someone with a beautiful ancient serpent that is cursed to be a weapon, found yourself in the companionship of someone else with a cursed weapon, or that you, who are so terrified of water, found yourself in the companionship of someone who is haunted, nay, cursed by this well you speak of, or that the way your past haunts you, one of your compatriots' past evades them. I mean, there is some strange cosmic pattern in that. It's like
At
the
that
wrinkles
moment,
on a palm.
Valym like just pauses, and the processing is clearly going through his face, like when you see someone like looking in all different directions, as if they're reading a board with
Mm-hmm.
notes all across it, and then he just looks over and with a slow blink, that may have been one of the most wise things I have heard in years of my life.
I've heard I'm smart from time to time.
You're terrifying.
I am, yes. I prefer it that way.
No, checks out. It's kind of cool.
Terror is a good tool. Terror prevents you from actually having to hurt people. You can repel with reputation and posture more than you can with threat of blade or harm.
That's incredibly true. How are you so smart?
I think age might have something to do with it. I think learning things the hard way probably is the other side of that coin. People like me amass wisdom quickly because we make big mistakes with big consequences.
Now that I can relate to. Quite so. And at that point, he actually pulls out the eagle totem. Is Song going to be okay?
From me, you mean? Or
Well, from everyone.
we won't harm her or anything, no. Her track record for, I guess, I don't know. I think
Can
if
I
she
take her
stays...
punishment instead?
Huh. That's an interesting notion in and of itself. It wouldn't be fair for you to take her punishment. You didn't commit her indiscretions.
But I indirectly led to them.
True.
Or at least some of it.
I mean, the worst punishment we could ever give her would be to send her away.
Yeah.
Which has crossed our minds in the past. Sometimes we think she may not be cut out for this life. She is soft and inquisitive. And out here, that doesn't just get you killed. That gets other people killed too.
And in that moment, Valym distinctly thinks of Nim. And I think there's a little bit of comparison in his mind of Song to Nim and his relationship with both of them. And probably a bit of seeing Nim in Song the first time, and then vice versa. It makes sense. The children are stubborn. So it could be that even if that is dangerous, indirectly they're safer with you as well, whether we like it or not.
Maybe. I wasn't like her when I was young. I wanted nothing more than to please my father. And she seems to want to do the exact opposite of that all the time.
Is your father still alive?
Yeah.
Are they nearby?
No. At least their posting isn't around here anymore.
Posting?
Yeah. We have to take care of the entire shawl. And wraps around, well, we call this the shoulder, but goes all the way down by the river where you first met Song. He's posted
How do
further
you feel
south.
about death?
Death?
Yes.
Do you fear it?
I don't.
Mm.
And I don't necessarily fear bringing it to others either. And I don't think anyone will give me as straight an answer as you.
Well, for me, when I think of death, the only part of it I fear is what those who rely on me will do when I'm gone. That is, I think, what concerns me most. Because if you die, you just cease to exist. But living, I mean, that's just a punishment. And living in the presence of death, well, that's an even worse one.
Yeah.
I see what happened to my
remorse
father.
If you had killed us in those woods?
Yes. Oh, yes. Definitively so.
Really?
I would have had to see Song mourn your passing.
Okay.
That would have sown doubt in my heart.
That makes sense to me.
I would have had to contemplate on whether that child would have grown up to do something great, but I robbed the world of that.
If Song wasn't there, do you think there would have been remorse? Remorse against intruders who were causing harm to your home?
I don't know if there would be remorse, but there would have been pity. I mean, there are times I don't even like killing animals. Watching the light go out. Oh. Sometimes I think back to when I was a little boy. I had to kill my first chicken. I didn't like watching the light go out back then either.
Was that the first thing that you had to kill? The chicken?
Yes.
That would have been easier.
What was the first thing you had to kill?
A man. And then 4 others. It was strange. But after it was over, I was dull and removed. They'd expected me dead, and I wasn't. And when I found them, I didn't fail the way they did.
Well, I guess that changes things because the chicken didn't try to kill me.
Yeah. That would have been interesting if it had.
You'd be surprised sometimes when you go to get eggs, those roosters.
Chickens are terrifying, and they're very loud, and they squawk, and they run incredibly fast. If they were bigger, they would be a problem.
I'm really happy they're not bigger.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to see a big one.
I feel like the size of the chicken wings would be pretty magnificent, though. Those things barely have any meat on them.
That's true. You could have a full meal off of just one wing.
Right? There's got to be a way.
I mean, there are dire wolves. Of course, there's dire chickens.
I suppose you're right.
It's a horrible thought we just put into the world.
One of my grandmothers claimed to see a giant lizard once.
A what?
a gigantic lizard of some sort. She said it went on 2 legs
That's horrifying.
with atrophied arms.
Like t- huge legs, tiny arms.
With a ginormous tail.
That seems made up. Seems like a fairy tale.
She swears up and down.
That's horrifying.
I know.
Oh, I prefer the chickens.
I do too. I would rather fight a big chicken than a big lizard.
Agreed.
This is nice, Valym.
Agreed.
Sorry, Cinder.
There it is. You concerned me and terrified me a bit. And I think, honestly, it's because I look at you and see what I thought I could have been.
I'm not gonna lie, that's rather flattering. He
I
swings
thought
his
you'd be very happy.
braid over to the other side. But I think most people fall into this trap of worrying about what could have been as opposed to what will be.
I think you're right.
Because you, I'm sure, have traits that I could learn from. Just like I have traits that you could learn from.
Look, I have a fire spirit in my chest.
And I can fly.
Yes, you can. One day. Show off.
You walk into a very old, ancient part of the wood. The trees here have lichen beards that hang low, almost touching the ground. They're covered in old moss, and their trunks are covered in layers of thick bark, almost petrified. He points to some ruins down the mountainside a bit, and he says, there is probably a good sheltered place here for your friend.
The snake.
Yes.
Perfect.
No one comes out this way, and there's probably an adequate nesting area here somewhere.
Good. Then she'll be safe, and I suppose other people will be safe from her as well. Which
Not
I
sure.
guess is a concern.
I'm not sure what a bunch of giant snakes might do to the local ecosystem, but
I was going to feed her a whole man. I was told not to, but
well, I guess we should start looking.
agreed.
Probably something a little bit subterranean.
Makes sense.
I'm gonna need to find a cool place. It gets hot here.
Oh, that would be perfect. Thank you, Breeze.
Of course. You've grown on me a bit, like lichen on the trees.
I know. I will never say it in front of your siblings, but I actually do enjoy your company.
Yeah, Song would be horrifically disappointed if you admitted that.
Oh, I'm absolutely sure. But look at
She'd
me
be
as
like,
if I had
he
said
was
that.
my friend first. Oh.
Yes. Yeah. No doubt.
Do you mind? He reaches out towards the totem.
I hand it over.
He looks at it very carefully, kind of twirling it between his fingers. She's not very good at making these yet. It doesn't have an aspect.
Huh. It's a bird. Their butts aren't very big.
He looks confused, although the DM laughs. It's like a lantern without a light inside.
Oh, I didn't know there was more to it. I thought it was just a gift.
Expended gift, I think. She's been working on them.
Oh,
Me and a lot of the people from my family have unique talents. And instead of leaning into what she's good at, she burdens herself with trying to copy older brother.
no. What is she good at? Then,
Well, it's funny now that you ask. Mimicry.
what does that even mean?
Ever since she was young, she could perfectly mimic everything from a bird's call to its mannerisms. I
That's
mean,
amazing.
you can shapeshift, but have you ever tried to like incorporate yourself with an actual pack? It almost always goes wrong.
Yes, it does. But she's good at that.
She convinced a black bear that she was one of her cubs.
That seems terrible,
Uh,
but funny.
Very funny. When she would run away from home when she was young, sometimes we would find out she had just taken up with some local coyotes or a nearby rabbit haven. Getting her back was almost impossible.
You know,
Do you know what it's
the
like to
first
be
time I met
pursued
Song.
by 4 raccoons? Horrifying. Horrifying. They thought I'd stolen their child.
Oh my gosh. Song, no. The first time I met her, I gave her an axe and left her with my companions, which in hindsight feels like a terrible idea. But I did. She didn't kill any of them.
No, but like I said, she is good at getting adopted into the nest.
Yeah. Oh my. Is that what she did to me?
Maybe.
Oh my gosh. Damn it. It's always small, cute, friendly creatures every time. Wasn't even shifted. It was just a small child.
What do you mean every time?
It, there's the other child, Nim, who has grown on me even though they live in a sense of naivete. There was a time when Hawk had issues with her children. It drew me in immediately, and then there is this snake that is seeking a place to lay its young. It's children and small creatures, and somehow those are what get me. I'm seeing a pattern, actually, which is so strangely clear when I actively think about it, and so coincidental every moment up to now.
Like I told you, when you drop the drop of water, you almost know always which way it's going to go.
Life is strange.
To us, I think.
Yes, true.
But strangely serendipitous and sense making, I think, to those who have the bigger picture. I'm
Like
sure
you.
the son looking down on all of this thinks we're idiots for not seeing that, which is right in front of us.
Especially when it shines the way. Hmm.
Give me a perception check.
Okay. First row of the night. This is gonna be fine. I'm not concerned at all. 21.
That's good because Breeze did not roll well. you get the distinct sense that something is watching you.
Breeze, I have a strong feeling that something is watching us. And I'm not exactly sure what.
Out here?
Yes.
Does it mean us harm?
I haven't felt any hostility yet. Maybe curiosity or patience, almost.
Huh. Strange.
Are there any other shifters out here other than you and your pack?
Not that I know of, no.
Hmm. And I'm going to try to look around to see if I can pinpoint wherever I was getting this sensation from.
Mm-hmm. Give me another perception check.
Ooh, better. 22.
Mm-hmm. You do feel like you hear something scuttling ever so briefly amidst the stone ruins that lay before you now.
I hear scuttling in the stone ruins, Breeze.
Well, then we should clear it if we're going to have your friend make her home here.
Agreed. So we should clean house, just in case. Better to be safe.
All right, you stay here. And he seamlessly, like stepping on air, on his third step, turns into an owl.
I really want to hate him, but it's so clever.
And surveys the nearby ruins.
Mhm.
Just down the hill from you, you see, like stretched out before you, what looks to be the stone masonry, leftover woodwork and stairs of what looks to be maybe like an old academy or some type of public structure that has long since been abandoned to the woods. Overgrown with roots, moss, everything. The forest has overtaken it. With the slowly kind of like destroying the rocks and all of the masonry, bringing it down upon itself. But the walls that are still intact and the roofs that are still intact do provide some good cover. And the stone here is old, and the structures have long since stopped shifting. And you do think that this would probably be a good place to build a nest of some kind. The forest is not like quiet here. You hear, birds twittering and things like that. But the scuttling you heard did sound like something running away at you noticing it. It kind of stuck out to your ear a little bit more. And as you see Breeze kind of like circle down and then come like back up and around, after some time hovering over like a particularly sort of like erect or the most intact building in this sort of like mini plaza ahead of you, circling in on it and then coming back. He returns to his human form and says, I think we have company.
Should we eat them?
Maybe. They give me a very strange vibe. They seem to be here with purpose.
Purpose? What purpose could they have out here?
He points at you.
Me, you think?
I think you were followed. They have bags.
Bags?
Like they came out here after something. And weapons. And a mule laden with provisions and they've made somewhat of a makeshift camp in one of the buildings down the hill. I think one of them may have noticed me.
They sound almost like bandits.
Maybe. They did have a unsavory look about them.
Well, we should go introduce ourselves to them. What do you say?
I suppose we should. We'll have to get rid of them if your friend is to make her home here.
Agreed. And maybe they'll just help feed the ground.
So, do you want to go in quiet? Or...
Let's go quiet first. It'll give us an opportunity to at least get some sort of advantage.
All right.
And if things start to go south and we want to go aggressive or lead into that, let's say you or I should bloom a red flower. And if we want to wait, we'll instead bloom a blue flower.
Signals.
So red for hostile or blue to wait. A silent way to alert the other.
I like this plan. He concentrates for a moment and then casts Pass Without Trace.
Beautiful. Glad he has it. I don't have it.
His skill set's a little bit different than yours.
I can tell.
And
someone's like a dangerous infiltrator and shit. Okay, if I saw the trust, that's a +10?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. All right. So you want me to roll stealth? Okay.
I'm glad I have a +10 because my rolls have been ass so far.
That is a 23.
He begins to lead you through the ruins. You pass through, I should say, a domed building, half sort of emerged in the dirt by now. The ceiling of it is painted with a beautiful mosaic of sort of like geometric shapes overlapping each other. You have to crawl to get out the other side because it's so close to the ground, but Breeze kind of seems more familiar with the structure and shows you where to pass through. As you begin... Yes? Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking like follow and crawl underneath.
Mm-hmm. As you approach like the area is telling you about, sure enough, you do see like a soft, dull yellow glow of a fire somewhere in the distance. And he like kind of points out another building that you can use for cover as you get closer. This building has a half slanted roof, overgrown with like roots and vines and mosses, and looks to be at one point have been some kind of like a eating hall or storage room, something like that. Mm-hmm. Some of the shelves laden with old pottery, long since dried out, have started to like creak and fall. Give me a dexterity check.
Okay. 17.
I rolled a 2.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry.
You see as like Breeze steps over one of these things, one of the bottles starts to tip, but you with your 17 catch it before it hits the ground. He turns around and he's like, and as he kind of like continues sulking, slinking through the ruins, you get the sense that he is much more used to being in animal form than on 2 legs.
Yep. That makes sense.
Every few feet you do vaguely hear the bells in his hair kind of jingle.
Damn it, Breeze.
And it makes you wonder why he was compelled to wear them this day. But you approach a building that has about 3 of its 4 walls still up, a roof and a sort of like, you see like a dull fire or an brazier on the roof from where someone's holding watch or keeping watch. You hear like ever so quietly the murmur of voices, and hear Breeze like points and like, you know, does a finger to try to get in closer. Roll one last stealth check.
This is stealth?
Yeah. I've rolled a 2, a 4, and a 6. Not even joking. But I have a plus 10.
30 total.
I have wait, no. I have modifiers. Let's see. Okay, it's still a 19. That's that's better than, you know.
This man, so he rolled a 9 total?
Yes.
I'm the expert at this. Let's go. I'm Breeze. I'm so oops.
Okay.
Oh, you're killing me.
So you get in very close to the building you're approaching. Actually, let's get a visual of it because we love visuals here. Boom, 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 boom.
Oh no.
Okay,
Oh yes, but oh no.
That's distracting. That shouldn't be there. Oh gosh. The roof collapsed early. No. Why are my hands so awkward? Okay. That was supposed to be so impressive. It was supposed to be like this big imposing thing, and then I just... There we go. There we go. It's totally cool that I forgot to put the grid in first.
Proud of you. Not sarcasm. It sounded like it. I realized.
All right. There we go. Sometimes I have these done up beforehand, but today... So this is like roughly the building you are looking at.
Cool. This is dope.
Yeah. And you are there. There is a man standing up here who you can barely see, which is working as intended. We're supposed to have a second man. I guess this will do. And 2 men sitting at the bottom. This one's, I guess, a skeleton. I don't know.
You don't know if it's a skeleton?
I don't have that many bandit minis. But I have a lot of other types of minis.
I'll be right back. This is concerning.
Yeah.
Let me grab water real quick while you're making my hell circle.
Okay. Sorry, chat. Normally, I feel like I set this up ahead of time. I feel like I ruined the suspense by doing this. Let's move this back a little bit here. There. There. All right. We've entered the map from here. Sweet! Nailed it.
God, this is exciting and ominous all simultaneously. There's more happening. Why?
Oh, you're kind of covering the one dude you can see. Okay. That's okay. Nailed it. First try, chat. The bandits haven't. Yeah, this guy isn't a skeleton. He's a bandit. Or a man, I should say. Now, he may look like a skeleton, but that's because I did not have any other human minis on hand. But
he's all skin and bones.
Yeah, he's all skin and bones. But he's not in fact a skeleton man with a bow and arrow. It's important to note. He may look like one, though. This man, however, looks like a human and is a human, which is good to know.
This is so cryptic. You know that, right? Like, this is hella cryptic. This is a human man that's a human man. I'm like, do you know how
exciting this encounter is for me?
You did say you were doing something weird.
I am one of these people that like loves to give people gifts, but then has to tell them what it is before Christmas. Have you ever met these people? That's me. Like, I'll give you a gift on the 3rd of December and be like, open it now. My friends will be like, no, I'm going to wait until Christmas. I'm like, open it now. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you what it is. Because I just get so excited. And that's kind of happening to me right now. But I'm doing my best to conceal my excitement, chat. So excited. Okay.
I'm dead.
So you look upon this ruin.
Ruin.
And you hear voices quietly from inside. In fact, we could say you and Breeze are hidden back here. Breeze should have a mini. Some type of signifier. You know what? We'll use this wolf. Since we used it in the past, and even though he's not currently in wolf form, he may be at a future point, so. There he is. You see one man pacing back and forth on the roof, and you hear another, and actually see another individual crouched inside over the embers of a low burning fire now, stirring a pot of something whilst muttering and talking to his two companions.
Can I try to listen in to see what they're saying or hear their voices? Or
Yeah, you're actually able to listen in pretty easily because you passed your stealth check and you've gotten in quite close. You hear the one on the roof say, I think he may have gotten a glimpse of me earlier. He seemed to be looking in my direction. I told you to be careful. Well, I didn't even want to do this. Well, we have to do it. All right. You hear them kind of mutter. Another one says, the woman's voice kind of rings out, and she says, I can't believe Tom's dead. Well, that fellow who's killed him about to be dead too, eh? Well, why don't you focus on keeping an eye out? These people are dangerous. Well, they're separate for now. So, here's our best chance, eh?
Who the hell is Tom?
Breeze is like, I don't know, you tell me. Did you kill someone?
Probably, but the last person I came across, I let them live, which was against my general nature.
Do you know who these people are?
I don't think so. And I don't recognize any of their voices, right?
No, you haven't heard their voices before. You see a rodent skittering by across the stones, and one of the individuals kind of absentmindedly tosses a piece of bread to it and then like takes a piece of bread and puts it in her mouth and just kind of like kicks a rock and looks sullenly at the ground. So when should we move? Well, if he's seen you, probably sooner rather than later. What about his big stick? Might be a problem. Don't worry. I've taken care of that.
I still have my stick on my back, right?
Yes.
What the hell is he talking about? My stick is on my back.
I don't know.
I don't
Let me
like
see
that.
it.
Give it a second. Can I make a history check about Tom?
Yeah. Go for it.
Who the hell is Tom? The only Tom I know is from MySpace. 18.
You have definitely never heard the name of Tom. You've never heard of this in your life.
Never heard of a Tom.
What do you mean you've never heard of a Tom?
Do you think they mistook me for another black half-elf?
With a giant stick?
Yeah, it seems pretty common when I think about it.
What if we just go talk to them? Try
Okay.
to get them to understand this is a giant misunderstanding.
All right, yes.
I don't know. It kind of sounds like they want to kill you, though.
Yeah, I'm really not sure why. Should,
What?
I'm gonna take some rags and wrap them around my face to hide it.
Okay.
And I want to hand my staff to Breeze to hold for now.
Okay. Breeze takes it from you.
And then I'm going to take off. No, I'm going to pull Traveler's clothes out of my bag and like try to like slide them on top.
Okay.
All right. My name is Cinder. Remember?
Cinder.
Yeah. Okay.
You're good.
Uh,
You look like a hobo. You're gonna go in there like that?
yes, they don't want to kill the hobo.
Fair. They do look very thin.
Yeah. Probably make that. My name's Cinder.
But you know what? Yeah, sure.
I was trying to sound like the other guy that you were with. Whoa, something, I don't know. You had a big voice. It sounded like a booming drum was talking.
That's not what he sounded like.
Shut up! And I put on my acorn mittens.
Okay. Should I stay here?
No. It looks less shifty. Wait. I'm not. Stay within listening distance.
Okay. And if I see a red flower, I'll
Yes.
murder everyone.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. No, this makes sense.
Perfect. Is that sarcasm?
No.
Okay.
I'm just a little it's not how I usually do things.
I am very confident in this working, even if I have only thought of this situation in the last 10 minutes.
Okay. You're sure you don't know who Tom is?
Positive. I've never heard the name Tom.
Huh. Okay, well, these guys seem to know a lot about you. But, We'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right. Good luck. He puts a hand on your shoulder. You've got this.
Thank you, Bruce.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't die. You're a lot weaker than me, so it makes me feel awkward to see you going first. That's not very encouraging. You can do this. Yes.
That one was better. Thank you.
Even though you are weak and do not know how to fly.
Yes.
Or swim.
Yeah. That one is true, yes.
I still have faith in your abilities to sell this ruse. Yes.
Yes. Oh, still better than some of the other ones I've gotten. Oh, that druid outside is so rude and stupid. Oh, told me I couldn't have any food. And I'm walking my way in there, and I'm trying to like walk like Ajax. Oh, that stupid druid saying stupid things doesn't even like metal. Oh.
Give me a deception check.
Dirty 20.
And with that, we will take a break for our first break of the evening. We'll be right back, chat. Stretch, get some water, have a good time. We'll see you in, I think, about 6 to 8 minutes. Yes? Yes. Thank you for hanging out with us for our very special one-shot.
I regret that.
are back. Thank you for being so patient while I fixed myself a cup of tea. Yeah. So, Valym walks into the ruins, trying to imitate Ajax as best he can. The person on the roof says, oh, you've had a run-in with that druid. Oh, just a second. I have you muted. Sorry.
Yes, I have. My name's Dajax. The Druid's kind of a jerk.
What was your name?
Dajax.
Deja. Oh, interesting. Do you mind telling us whereabouts he is?
Ooh, the Druid.
Aye.
He was hanging outside the ruins with some kind of snarky-looking figure.
You know, I'm not going to lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually looking for him.
Oh. I mean, I'm not surprised. He seems like he's probably pissed off somebody. I'm just asking for directions, and he was like, "Get out of my way!" But did it in kind of a weird, snarky voice.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, if you need food, there you go. Catch. And he tosses you like a whey bread, like an oaty whey bread.
Oh.
Yeah,
Thank
we've
you.
got it in for that guy. Killed one of our friends. You see a girl peeling an apple, like with her back against this back wall here. Down here, though. Say, yeah, he did. Killed
He's
Tom.
a criminal.
Oh, he is. Criminal of the highest order. Him and the whole lot he rolls with. Well, I guess it depends on who you ask. Feel like a matter of criminal or... Well, who amongst us hasn't committed a crime against someone?
Out of character, does that voice sound familiar? That
No.
third one?
It's that the DM has very limited voices.
Okay. Gabe is just making sure.
Yeah.
You'll slide that in, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that's good. Okay. Is there anything that I can do?
Today's mug is fantastic.
Oh my god!
By the way, it's what I call a dad mug, because it's like, you know, animals of America, and it's got wolf facts on it, and it's my Midwest dad mug, and I love it. It says American Expedition, explore and discover the beauty of the nature of America. And I used it today because it reminds me of Breeze.
Is there anything that I can help you with to get that Valym? I think that was his name.
Oh, surprised you knew it.
Well, I introduced myself.
Oh, right.
To him, and he was like, what did he say? My name's Valym, but I'm busy right now. So I'm sorry. I was just...
Wow, you're really good at impressions. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I don't know. He's a very dangerous sort. That's true.
You seemed unarmed, at least.
Oh, yeah. Well, we had some hand in that. Mm-hmm.
Really? Are you bounty hunters?
No. Not even remotely.
Oh. Are you adventurous?
Well, we do adventurous things, but I'm not sure we're adventurous.
No. Are you heroes?
I don't know about that. My name's Lissa, by the way. What's Dajax, right?
Yes, that is me. And I point to my short sword. This is my short sword, Melinda.
Oh, you named your sword.
Yes.
Interesting. Why do you cover your face?
The honest answer. I'm a half-orc, but I don't really love myself yet, so I'm waiting until I do.
She casts an appraising eye over your stature. Give me another, deception check.
Deal. Oh my god. 22.
Well, you are very small for an half orc, so I assume you probably got bullied a lot. Sorry
Bit
about
of a
that.
runt, so to speak.
Oi, you know what? You're only as big as you are on the inside, so don't you worry about that, eh? You'll grow into your your tusks.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
In the
Thanks.
meantime, you can just lie to people. Tell them you got illness or that you're maybe like a tiefling or something.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. My name's Dajax, and I'm actually a tiefling. Yeah? Yeah?
Well, you don't even have to say that, right? Like people will just
Oh.
assume it.
Oh.
You know?
Oh.
You hear like Lissa laugh. Yeah, they just. It's sometimes like when you're trying to fool people, it's better to just leave out details rather than add extraneous ones.
That makes sense. Um, is there anything that I can help you with this character that was actually very valuable to me? You just gave me.
You could lead us to him or maybe distract him so we could grab him. You see, he killed a friend of ours.
Was it recent? Have you reported him to the guard?
Well, that's where the things get a bit complicated, eh? Because we're not exactly on the up and up with the guard.
Oh,
We may have stolen a few things, but that doesn't mean that we're not entitled to justice.
that's
Like
true.
that's what I've been saying. But if we go and tell them, they're not going to listen to us.
Hmm.
They're going to be like, "You lot are thieves. We're glad you're dead." But I'd rather be arrested and put in jail than fed to a giant snake.
A giant snake?
It's true. He fed him to a giant snake. He's disgusting. Sick. Ugh, the things I'm going to do to him when I see him. Tom was like, can't even defend himself. He's just such a nice guy. We're going to get all of them. Every single one of them. And we'll have to do it ourselves because, well,
Why did he feed why did he feed Tom? Why did he feed the snake Tom?
because he's fucked in the head, eh?
Hmm.
How all he cares about is his animals. The rest of us, we could just get fucked, right?
Disgusting.
Our lives apparently don't mean anything because once in a while we lift things. Yeah,
Your life matters just
actually,
as much as his.
I'm pretty sure he got money to do it. Probably doesn't even feel bad about it. We're going to show him, though. Our lives are worth more than a couple of coin.
Actually, you know what? I bet you I can scare him.
Scare him?
Yeah. Because like if you want to take him out, you want him to feel that mental fear before you do it, right? And he's expecting you lot, but he's not expecting me to know what he did to Tom.
That is true. Roll persuasion.
$21.
You see, actually, no, that's just for so we all know where we're at. You see her kind of come around to the idea. She's like, well, yeah, but like after that we get revenge, right? Like we're not just gonna scare him and leave it at that.
No. My guess is you're probably not going to have much of a chance to talk afterwards. And if he's expecting you, then he'll run. But if he hears it from me, he'll be confused. And that's the moment to strike.
Yeah.
What should I say to make him remember, to make him really fear what I know? Actually, depending on what I say, how much I convince him, I can probably lure him in here.
Like bring him to us so we could spring a trap?
Exactly. So I just have to know what to tell him to make him think, I know what happened with Tom. This scenario, remember? And if you don't follow me and help me sort this out, I'll go tell someone. But if I tell him I'm going into a cave alone, he would obviously follow me, thinking he has the upper hand.
Oh, I see. Well, you tell him that we really hope that restaurateur paid him well because we're about to pay him doubly so in kind.
Mm-hmm. Deal. That restaurateur better have paid you well.
Because we're going to pay you.
Because we're going to pay you.
The iron price, I think. I don't know. Something like that. Pay you back in blood.
Pay you back in blood. Got it. Okay. Perfect. Okay.
So you'll bring him in?
Yes. Gladly.
We'll wait for you.
All right.
And don't think of warning him. Because if you double cross us, well, we're bad enemies to have. But we don't want to hurt you if we don't have to.
Justice for Tom.
Yeah, for Tom. Yeah, for Tom. Oh,
Tom.
poor lookout Tom. He was just a scout. He wasn't ready. Right into the maws of a beast. This Valym fella fed him. Just right cold-blooded. Just a sick type of guy, you know? God. Just really messed up.
Jasmine. No.
Huh?
Oh my God. Okay. Valym, Cinder, Dayjax.
Dayjax and Melinda?
Yep. Starts to walk out. And considering everything that they said, the only thing Valym fed to a snake was the rats in the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So he starts to wonder, was their friend a rat? And if their friend was a rat, was there a druid leading those rats? I fed it to a snake?
Well, who knows, honestly.
Jasmine. That was Balvin's idea. It wasn't even Valym's idea. Damn it. Ajax, you bastard. You haunt me even when you're not here. Okay. Starts walking out and kind of like tries to gesture to Breeze to follow if he can as he makes his way out.
Breeze like kind of follows behind you and is like, So what's the score?
I think Tom was a rat.
Okay, and
There were some rats inside of a restaurant that got fed to a giant snake, and they want vengeance for a rat named Tom.
Did you feed someone's pet to the snake, or?
I guess, but there was a whole bunch of rats in there. We were paid to do it. It wasn't even my idea.
So wait. Are you talking about like Tom, like a human being?
That's what I'm wondering. There's a chance that Tom might have been someone like us that turned into a rat and then got turned into a person when they were already inside the snake. And
Breeze like looks over your shoulder and observes them. They are not like us.
Yeah.
I don't recognize them at all. Well, I mean, not that I know all druids. I didn't know you, but
yeah.
I mean, this is kind of my stomping grounds. I feel like I would know. Are you sure?
No. The only thing that I have fed a snake in relation to a restaurateur was rats. I mean, I did try to feed a person to it, but it didn't work.
Okay. Well,
unless the snake got him after I left.
Tom. Well, this
Tom.
is... And they want you dead over this.
Yeah.
Valym, what is your passive perception?
It is a 16.
You don't notice it right away, but Breeze does. A rat behind you. And sniffing at like your boots and at your rags inquisitively. And Breeze points it out and he says, like that one.
Yes.
And you just see like Breeze like druid craft a red flower and go,
Yeah.
As Breeze raises his hand to strike at this this small creature, he's gonna roll for it. Actually, let's see.
Is that like? It's not that size, right?
No, it is.
Ah, that's huge.
Yeah, it's to scale. Just a second here. All right.
What the hell is this?
As Breeze, like, kind of raises his hand to cast a spell, before your very eyes, you see this creature shift and morph into a were-rat! A were-rat hybrid! And it hisses out as it grows to full size. We've been fooled! And as he does, the gentleman up here also morphs into a were-rat! You look so annoyed with me.
I want you to know, this is the third time in my D&D career I have been attacked by were-rats. Also, really, of all the damn were creatures to give me, you gave Xander the werewolf and me the were-rat.
Oh,
who the fuck is Tom?
And suddenly, at least to Breeze, what has transpired becomes clear. The were-rats whilst undergoing some kind of or carrying out some kind of operation to rob or make away with some money from the restaurateur's establishment, one of them got scooped up and thrown into the maws of Nagarani. And their fellow compatriots have decided to enact vengeance upon the adventurers who so callously flung Tom to this final fate.
You know what's great?
This is the cheesiest thing I've ever done, and I love it. The way I'm like, where rat?
Is that a pun because they're rats and cheese? Jesus, you know what? It's fucking Ajax's fault too. This is Ajax's fault too. And now I'm suffering for it. That's the worst part. He said, let's feed the rats to them. Was it that one that said stab, stab, kill? It was. What the fuck, Jasmine? Because I wrote that down. I wrote that down and that goddamn rat said that to me. Stab, stab, murder. Like,
roll initiative. I broke Gabe. When I said that this encounter was going to be weird, do you understand now why I said it was going to be weird?
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If you turn me into a were-rat when I go back to that camp, I'm putting Valym in a lake.
Chat, you love it. Don't lie. You love it. This is so great.
My God.
You
23.
killed Tom. I like how this is your third time fighting were-rats. I had no clue.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The first time I got turned into a were-rat and then turned into a statue. The second time I got turned into a were-rat and lost a hand.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have a great history with were-rats. It's only ever were-rats. Nothing else. It's always these damn things. And you're damn right I'm blaming Ajax for this because Ajax picked up a rat, put it in my hands, said feed the snake. And these bastards sought me out. And I pretended to be Ajax. That's the worst part.
That's actually why this one followed you. You rolled so well on it that you were going to have the jump, but because you said Ajax and Melinda, I had each of them roll perception and only one figured out that, like, wait a minute.
I didn't think I actually did anything wrong. I thought it was a mistaken identity. That's why I didn't attack them. I was trying to be nice. Like that. This is why I kill everybody in this game. 23.
You actually get to go first.
Son of a bitch. God damn it. Okay, where
I can't wait for you to tell this story to everyone else.
Nothing happened. That's what's gonna happen at the campfire. Nothing happened. I found that snake a place to sleep.
Where did I put my pen and paper?
God, everything is suffering. I look at this were-rat. And say, I really, really don't want to have to kill you.
Oh, you try to like parlay with it?
Yes, because I am trying to go through some personal growth.
Mm-hmm. I guess maybe intimidation, since you're like, I don't want to have to kill you.
Okay. That's a 17.
Versus their insight. Now I get the good rolls. It says, you can try. Baring its rodentine teeth at you.
Okay, that's disgusting. I'm going to pull out a leaf out of my pocket and then just like swing it to the side in front of their face and then just say in Elvish burn, and I'm going to cast Flame Blade to
Ooh.
conjure. Instead of just a scimitar, it appears as a fiery blade that almost looks like a reaper's scythe in his hands, scorching. And probably in that moment, his eyes have a little bit of a glow to them. And the general smile and demeanor, the face wrap comes off, and there's just a scowl and blank stare on his face.
My goodness. All right. So is that a dex save or?
Well, I don't know if I still have my action when I was trying to convince them or not.
Oh, no. You have it. Yeah.
Oh, well, then that's an attack. I'm going to swing on them.
Perfect.
It is a 19.
That hits.
So they take 13 points of fire damage. Just swing into their chest.
It hisses in pain. Justice for Tom. And it tries to bite you.
I should have kept that stupid ass liquid.
As it attempts to bite you, it misses and then tries to stab you with its short sword in anger. With a 14.
That will miss.
So then as, the short sword goes wide, the chomping goes wide, and then it is Breeze's turn. Breeze. Let's see. Bum, bum, bum. Ooh, this one's fun. You see Breeze kind of bring his hands together and almost like a triangle, and then start to draw them apart further and further and further and further. And as his hands come apart, you almost see growing between them like almost like a moat of air swirling. Mm-hmm. And as he draws them apart and then flings it out, he summons a beast, a bestial spirit of air.
Dope.
It is a wolf. We'll
That's dope.
Use this to denote it. And let's see. So, I should have done land so you can get pack tactics. I didn't. My bad.
I mean, it's still your turn.
So instead, he puts his hands together and summons a bestial spirit made of sand and dirt, swirling around it, coming off of it, almost like a constant sort of cascade of soil coming off of its haunches magically. And okay, so it only has 13 AC and 20 hit points, but it does have pack tactics. So it has advantage if one of its allies is within 5 feet of the creature.
That's me, baby.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and I'm trying to figure out what turn it acts on. We'll have it act on
the companion creature?
Yeah.
I think it acts on yours almost.
The creature shares your initiative count. Yeah, perfect. But takes its turn immediately after yours. It obeys your verbal commands. Okay, perfect. So you see Breeze say to it, speak to it in Elvish or Druidic, I guess. And he says, attack. And then the wolf will attack. It's going to attempt to maul. So that's okay, so that hits. It only does piercing damage, though. So it attacks this creature. You notice as it, as its jaws, kind of like made of earth and stone, come biting into the were-rat's hindquarters. It is not wholly effective, but does chunk away some of its, you see blood start streaming out of this creature's behind.
Fair.
Then it is this creature's turn. It's going to take its full movement, which is going to be, let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, I believe. Let me make sure here. Actually 30 feet. So then 20, and then 25, 30. Or I guess 30. And it's going to attempt to stab at this earthen creature in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
Twice with its short sword. Hitting once. All right, so I'll have to keep a running total of that. Perfect. All right, and then it is your turn again, Valym.
Okay. God, everything about this is not good. I would like to summon Pilar, not within 10 feet of the earthen spirit, but within 10 feet of the 2 were-rats that are over there. So like
here?
just at the, yeah.
Perfect.
Exactly. And then when I do that, I need those 2 to make a dexterity saving throw.
Only one makes it. This one
Okay.
here makes it, and this one doesn't.
So the one that doesn't takes 11 points of fire damage. As they're ignited when Pilar appears.
Yes. As the flame spirit bursts forth, you see this already like half charred were-rat begin to like shriek as more of its fur goes up in flame.
For Tom. And it's still alive, right?
Yes.
As a bonus action, I'm going to make my lovely little friend shoot a flame seed at it. So I'll make my attack. That is a 25.
That hits.
So it takes 7 more points of fire damage.
It dies.
And I'd like the flame seed to like shoot a hole through it. And the hole that singes, I'm going to look through the hole at the other one for Tom. Remember?
Make an intimidation check.
23.
With a 23, and I guess it's now this creature's turn. Wait, no, it would be Breeze's turn. You see it kind of cower in fear from you. On Breeze's turn, he is going to earthbind it. You see like the earth itself start to form around this remaining individual's feet. It must succeed on a strength saving throw or... Oh, wait, this is for flying creatures. Never mind. My bad.
I just liked that you were doing it. I wasn't going to say anything. You were excited.
I was excited. I like playing Breeze. Instead, he's going to Thorn Whip him. From the ground itself, he pulls out like one of the roots completely covered in barbs and attempts to whip this were creature in front of him. Hitting. All right, so that's... The whip wraps around the creature's leg and pulls it 10 feet closer to the both of you. I guess that maybe wasn't a smart thing, but it does, I think, provoke an op attack. I'm going to say yes because it doesn't say it doesn't provoke op attacks.
Good. You're the boss. You make the rules.
Oh. The Earth Wolf strikes with a nat 20.
Yeah. That's what I like to see.
And then takes its complete turn after that. So you see this like wolf, this Earth Wolf that Breeze has summoned, strike out at this thing twice, and you almost get the sense that you've seen that they've worked together before, or that this is a maneuver that they have successfully enacted in the past. As this wolf locks its like bone and dirt jaws, I guess not bone, rock and dirt jaws squarely into the were-rat's side quarters and its legs, as Breeze whips his like thorny whip around its ankle and pulls him forward with great force. It is then this creature's turn. As it is being dragged by its legs, it tries to claw at you, Valym, while it's being dragged past you.
Mm-hmm.
It strikes at you twice. Once with a 17 and once with a 19.
Both hit.
Let's see. So the first one is going to be with its short sword flailing, dealing 8 piercing damage. The second one is going to be, it tries, as it's like I said, being dragged by its leg, tries to bite at you.
Mm-hmm.
Dealing 6 piercing damage.
Mm-hmm.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
It's a 5.
You feel the venom from this creature's like fangs go coursing through your leg. As it ends its turn, and it's the top of the round, you actually see now. Where is it? Oh, here it is. You see fleeing. The woman that was sitting against the wall before is gone, and you see instead a were-rat fleeing, or a giant rat fleeing the scene. It is your turn.
How far is she?
She is 5, 10, 15, 20 feet from you.
20 feet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see.
This is Pilar, by the way.
Is she within 15 feet of Pilar?
Yes, just barely.
Good. Nah, I'm just gonna do whatever the hell I want. I'm going to have Pilar shoot a flame seed at her running away.
Mm-hmm. Sweet.
That's a nat 20.
Oh, perfect.
So she takes, good lord, 14 points of fire damage.
Wow. So second here. She is in giant rat form, which is not that sturdy. I mean, I think you said 14 points of damage?
Yeah.
That's double her health. So whoosh, you see like the flame seed go through. And from, at first you see it like pierce a hole through this creature. And then from where that hole is pierced, you just see whoosh, the entirety of this creature go up in flames and then disintegrate into ash.
And then for my action, I'm going to strike the one next to me.
Go for it.
That is a dirty 20.
Perfect, that hits.
For 13 fire damage.
13 fire damage. You see this creature in its death throes, like shrieking and clutching at the wound you've inflicted. While you pull out your, this sort of like ethereal burning blade, after leaving like this just gnarly gash and burn in its shoulder. It is Breeze's turn. Breeze attacks with the thorn whip again, this time going for the neck. Hitting. And you see like the barb start to reach or kind of like puncture into this creature's fur as it gasps for air, and Breeze once again pulls it down and closer to him, kind of like the way, like you might pull a rope with something attached to it. He drags it forward once again, giving, I believe, this creature another op attack. Yes, I want to say yes. Either way, it's going to attack on its turn, and it has advantage. And it hits, which is the last 4 hit points I think we needed. So as he like wraps the thorn whip around its neck and drags it forward, you see this earthen wolf just like completely like maul this thing to pieces, like shreds of flesh and sinew and fur go everywhere. It is a gnarly scene. And then just as soon as everything happened, the entire ruins lay quiet. And you are just surrounded by the sound of birds chirping and viscera splattering the stone floor underneath your feet. Well, that was something.
That was horrible.
It was. He snaps his fingers and the wolf just sinks back into the earth like it was never there, leaving just a couple of pebbles as a mark of where it once stood. Grisly work, but it has to be done. You see him like crack the whip and then just like have it disappear, like turns into almost like moss and disintegrates into the wind as he does this.
I put the scythe pointing towards Pilar and wait for him to almost fuse himself into the scythe. And then I kind of spin it around and then just slam it into my chest and both dissipate Pilar Summon and the Flame Blade.
Perfect.
I look down at my leg where the stupid rat bit me.
Are you all right?
That feels wrong.
Breeze like takes a look at it with an appraising eye. He's somewhat proficient in medicine. We may need to get you some help sooner rather than later.
Hate rats.
From what I gathered, they don't seem fond of you either.
No, because they're stupid enough to go into a restaurant and blame the person handed the rat.
With all due respect, it seems like they were after all of you. You were the unfortunate person they went after first.
That is an unfortunate reality of my life, I am realizing. Where should we go exactly?
Well, I've never really dealt with something like this before. But I think I know someone.
Go on.
They're strange. Disturbing even.
You'd be shocked. The people I have met.
But he's somewhat a master of silversmithing. He might know somewhat how to deal with this. Might fall into his area of expertise.
Yes, please lead the way.
All right. I think I have something that can help us. Get there faster, since time is very much of the essence.
Go on.
He reaches into one of his pouches and hands you a very special, made out of almost like bleached wood totem of an owl. And as soon as you touch it, you feel like a thrum of power come from it. If you hold this and concentrate, once a day you can assume the form of a winged beast, of a great horned owl. But you have to roll a d6, and if you roll a 1, it shatters. But then he says, but you have to be careful. It can only hold, arcane energy for so long before the wood itself will crack.
Rather the shatter mechanic, Jasmine?
Huh?
So of course you added a shadow mechanic. You know what happened the last time you told me not to roll a number? I ended up going out with Breeze for this adventure.
Yeah. But, I mean, you can use it as many times as you want, and you just have to roll a d6 every time, and on a 1, it'll crack. But I don't give these out lightly. Unlike my sisters, they actually work.
So I should use this and then follow you, yes?
Yes. I think that might be the best.
Okay.
Don't worry, we're going to help you. I mean, nothing bad has ever happened to any of the people under my watch. You notice now Breeze is like a little nervous.
Valym holds the totem and focuses. And I want you to know it was almost a 1 and it rolled over to a 3, and I felt death in my heart. And shifts into an owl to follow.
Mm-hmm. It feels almost euphoric. The very first time you kick off the side of the mountain and you feel like you're plummeting, and then the breeze catches you. You understand why Breeze is the way he is. It's almost like you're assuming his form or looking through his eyes, and you realize that this isn't just any great horned owl you're turning into. It is indeed the aspect of the great owl that Breeze takes. Large emerald eyes that are almost disturbing to look into, imperious eyebrows of the most judgmental nature that only owls can have, and just a carefree sort of like above it all type of air takes you as the warm, sort of like warm pocket of air that you catch glides you down past the city. You pass over Metaford, Marblehead, all the way down into that part of town, which you are all too well acquainted with. The Warrens, sprawling ever outward from the base of the town. And it dawns on you, there is only one place where Breeze could be taking you. He adjusts his tail feathers and begins his descent downwards.
That's Leander.
He begins to circle around the familiar chimney of a home that you've stayed in before.
Who is this?
As his feet touch the cobblestone front steps, he transforms back into his humanoid form.
I'll do the same. Oh, Leander. Of course it's Leander.
You know him?
Yes, I have smoked his weed and stayed in his home.
He is strange, but kind of a friend, I suppose. He is respectful.
Yes, true.
Which is more than I can say for
violent.
most. Only when the occasion allows.
Okay. I am not shocked that he knows about this.
Well, he is somewhat a master of alchemy, and silver seems to be his domain of expertise. If anyone can help you, it's him. I don't think conventional healing will help. And he nervously raps on the door. You hear a humming from inside.
Do not let him cut off my leg, please.
I will make sure he does not cut off your leg. The door flips open, and you see the very gaunt, very familiar face of one Leander. Hat poised crookedly upon his head, covering one eye. You see he is shirtless, with his trench coat wrapped around his waist, and he is glistening with sweat. You see the look that passes between him and Breeze. Oh, Breeze, you come to me on a summer day. Oh, cooling and refreshing. You see Breeze, you see some color actually come up into his cheeks as he says, Leander, I need your help. Inevitable. Oh, Valym, the Druid.
What?
The Druid.
Druid?
Druid. I was informed of your druidic nature just a few days ago. How are you?
I've been bit by a were-rat.
Not
great.
We cannot allow you to become a were-rat. For truly, they are the least noble of were creatures.
I'm aware.
Why, it seems like we might need to help you.
Yes, please, Leander. Can I come in?
Oh, of course. He throws the door open, and Breeze walks in nervously behind you, closing the door behind him. And he says, I guess I'll help you. I'll lend a hand. Oh, I'm sure you will. Do not worry, Valym. From the maws of that wretched rat lycanthropy, I shall snatch you. Yes.
Are you flirting right now?
I don't know the meaning of the word.
You're lying.
And you see him now like go prancing up the stairs on his tippy toes. And with Breeze reluctantly kind of following behind him. And kind of he looks at you furtively and just says, unfortunately, he's our only hope right now.
Oh my gosh. Where's that well? Follow.
When you go up the stairs, you do see a toddler dragon playing with some type of chew toy in the corner.
Oh, that's right. She wanted to eat Nim.
Mm-hmm. And you see all of the tinctures, bottles, plants, and everything spread out on the table as Leander begins hurriedly tossing and turning them about. He picks up a bottle very carefully, shakes it, and he says, oh, that's bad news.
Can you explain, please, Leander?
Well, you see, I'm out of Chaos Bane. Oh.
What is that?
Well, it's one of the reagents I need to draw the venom from your wound.
So what happens next, Leander?
Oh, right. And you see Breeze say, I'll go get it. What does it look like? Much like a maiden about to bloom. She is rosy of cheek, but shy to the... Leander, please! You see Breeze say, like stamping his foot angrily. A description! Please!
I'm gonna kill him too.
It has 5 petals, like the 5 elements of nature, and it loves to dance upon the evening breeze in meadows open and exposed to the moonlight. Breeze kind of looks a little bit defeated and is like, I guess that'll have to do.
May I make a nature check to see if I know what that looks like?
Yes.
Okay. That is a 13.
You're fairly sure you've seen it before.
I'm going to try to describe it to Breeze in a more comprehensive way to help with that.
That will give him advantage on this roll.
Yeah.
Breeze leaps out of the circular window that sits on the second floor of Leander's home, and you see a small burst of feathers as you assume he has shapeshifted and moved out into the night. In the interim, you see Leander very hurriedly taking small, thin, almost wires of silver and melting them carefully in what looks to be a crucible over a small fire. He adds, random like powders and herbs from the table around him and attempts to create the same mixture that you feel that Lulu had not too long ago.
The silver one. That makes sense.
Let's see how successful Breeze is. The clock ticks down, and you see that Breeze has not returned. Leander grows worried, searching nervously amongst his bottles and his poultices and salves for something else that will work. He says, we need to buy ourselves time. It seems that Breeze is having difficulty locating the flower we need.
How can we do that, Leander?
Let's see, actually, if he knows. Well,
I should have picked a different damn
spell. I know something that will stop the transformation, but it's a bit unorthodox.
You're not going to suck on my wound, are you?
No. How do you feel about being suspended between life and death?
Do it.
Very well. This is a bit dangerous.
Can I see the dragon?
Yes.
I look to Scourge. Singe Scourge, the destroyer of worlds. And say in Draconic, Dear Singe Scourge, the destroyer of worlds, if I do not wake up in 24 hours, eat that man.
Roll persuasion.
Thank you. 21.
You see now in this creature's eyes a sort of like glint, like a quick flash of almost like a sickly, putrid yellow-green. And as you ask her for this favor, you get this vague sort of understanding that she agrees.
That's scary as hell. Yeah, whatever. I accept this. I put on my acorn mittens and put my hands on my chest and tell Leander to do it.
Leander strikes your chest and attempts to remove like your soul from your body and to suspend you.
What the fuck? I thought he was just, what the hell is this?
Suspend you in a state of comatoseness. It's like you're laying down, and then one moment you're not. Like you're looking at yourself, your face cold.
What?
It's almost like you're sitting on a table.
What the hell are we doing? Why am I Hello?
Hi.
What? Who? Who? And I look at the voice.
As you turn around and look around, you realize you're in the lantern.
What answer?
The one Leander carries aloft that casts that eerie, sickly light throughout the graveyard. You see a creature, like, with eyebrows that kind of come out and then, like, at an imperious angle coming off of her face. Looks vaguely fey in nature. Sharp features and kind of like a hooked-like nose. Looking very bored, sitting against the corner of the lantern with her hands, or her face kind of resting on her hands.
How long have you been here?
A while.
I'm Valym.
Oh, hi. I'm Mara.
Hi, Mara. Ooh, are you being cured or revived too?
Yeah, he hasn't really had any luck with me yet, but...
What do you mean?
Well, I'm sure he'll fare better with you.
What is it? What is Mara? What does that mean?
Well, we just didn't want to be separated. We weren't ready yet. So he came up with a temporary solution. And, the temporary solution turned into like 15 years.
Mara wasn't his dog, right?
No, Sierra.
Yeah, okay, thank you. 15 years?
Yeah. It's not all bad, though.
Have you been in here by yourself for 15 years?
No, sometimes people come and go. Ghost vanquishing is a very serious business, and sometimes he needs my help. Don't worry, I'm not here against my will, though. I don't think I'm ready to go either.
What do you want?
Well, I mean, ideally to not be dead. But, you know. But I am sure you won't be here for that long. See, look how busy he is. And you see her like tapping against the glass as you see breeze come back in through the window as Leander hurriedly pours over his like alchemical bench.
How is he going to bring you back to life?
I don't think he knows that. He's asked me if I just want to go, but I feel like he needs me. There's so many things trying to kill him every day. But I can help him. So I do. You see her like push her face against the glass and kind of like looking at him scrupulously. Oh, look, he looks excited. I think he's made a breakthrough.
Are you okay? Or...
Yeah.
Okay.
I get it. This is weird.
That's not why. It just seems lonely.
I mean, sometimes it is. But when people aren't around, he talks to me. When people are around, he talks to me too. And then they think he's crazy.
Can he hear you?
Yeah. He sees more than he lets on. And half the time, I think he just acts strange just to scare people. I think he gets a rise out of it.
Yeah, it normalizes it. And then there's a reaction every time. I thought he was a con man, but I think he's just a strange man.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we are able to see each other again in better terms.
Yeah. Who knows? You know, Life is weird.
How do you know Leander?
We go back a long time.
Were you family, intimate, friends?
Well, intimacy is a strange thing, huh?
It is.
Sometimes you spend so long with someone, you feel like you belong to each other.
I get that.
And the world just doesn't even understand because they have to put a label on it. But I feel like we belong to each other.
Okay. Makes sense.
He says he's ready to let me go, but I don't think he is. But he's working on something.
Mara, is it that you're not ready to let him go? Because that's okay too. That's at least honest. Lying to ourselves, even, is just exhausting at the end of the day.
I think they're almost ready for you.
I think so too.
You're going to do great. Now you just have to jump back in your body. Don't mess it up.
I'll see you out there.
Yeah. And sure enough, he's going to attempt to put you back. As you feel your consciousness leave the lantern and you open your eyes again, and you're no longer in a glass case, but more so in your own body, you begin to feel that stiffness in your ankle take hold. Make another Constitution saving throw, this time with advantage.
Thank God. 14. The first roll was a 9.
Oh.
Yeah.
You feel like yourself, your body, now fortified with this like tincture that Leander has injected into you. You feel yourself able to fight off or stave off this lycanthropy that was beginning to take root in your ankle and spread through your body. You're able to like push this sort of venomous, toxic substance out of your veins, and you see the ooze begin to come out of your bite wound. You begin to see a noxious substance like kind of seep out of it. Leander very quickly covers this in a salve and binds it tight. He says, I think that may work. For now.
For now?
There's some conditions.
Leander, am I stuck this way?
No. But if you turn into a rat, you might not be able to turn back.
So I'm still loosely cursed.
Well, for now, until I come up with something more long-term.
Can we replace one curse with another?
I suppose so. It might be a bit complicated, but,
My life is complicated. Thank you.
Sorry, Valym. I did the best that I could, but
No,
Breeze
you
was probably distracted by something. No, I was not. Your descriptions were terrible.
The fact that I am not a large, vicious man-rat currently is largely thanks to both of you. I am indebted. Thank you.
Leander just gives you a hug. And as he does, he whispers in your ear, "Don't tell anyone."
Tell anyone what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
See Breeze just kind of shift nervously.
Breeze, are you all right?
I guess I feel kind of bad.
Why? You didn't do anything. It's why this is my fault for being involved. You had done nothing. You did everything I asked of you. And more.
You know, I think it could have been worse.
Okay, listening.
Well, if you hadn't done what you did, then if everything hadn't happened the way it had, what if we had sent that poor snake to nest in those ruins, and what if those were-rats would have gotten her? That would have been horrible. And I mean, they were trying to rob this restaurateur, right? That's why they got eaten in the first place. So
It's true. It is true. The world is better off because of it. I'd say. All for the better.
we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Besides, I mean, why would you want to turn into a rat anyway?
I literally did that days ago. Yes, so this is a horribly unfortunate circumstance.
Well,
I don't need to be a rat. There are much more interesting things.
yeah. Like this. And you see him reach into his pocket and pull out a small, plump hedgehog.
Why do you have a hedgehog in your pocket, Breeze?
Well, this is Sadie.
There's layers to this. Who is Sadie, Breeze?
She's cute.
That is true. Hello, Sadie. Breeze, did you asked Sadie to come with you, right?
Yes, Sadie's my pet.
Ah.
She took
Will
a
you keep
shine
her
to
in your
me.
pocket? She took a what? A shine to you.
Yes.
Was she in your pocket this whole time?
Yeah, I don't go anywhere without her.
What happens when you wild shape? Breeze?
She stays in my bag, so she just kind of whoop.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. Breeze, you're so strange. And I hand Sadie back.
Yeah, I just, rather turn into a hedgehog than a rat. Hedgehogs are cute. Look at their little noses. It's shaped like a heart.
That's fair.
You hear Leandra say, "I have a hole shaped like a heart. Because of you, Breeze." Well, I have to go. This has been real.
Did you two have a thing and it was an uncomfortable thing to come here because of that?
It was a long time ago, not so long, that Leander has forgotten, Breeze. Once we frolicked in the moonlight. I really should go.
You know what? I don't need to know anything more than this. Let's go, Breeze.
And Breeze strolls out of Leander's house with you in tow.
And with your ex?
That's a very strong word for it.
Oh. Leander is a person that you intimate with at one point.
Intimate is also a very strong word with it. It's just
Did you have sex with
sometimes
Leander?
when he grabs you and dances with you, there's just a part of you that can't pull away. It's like
Ah,
being
yes. Yeah.
hypnotized.
That happened with the half orc that I was with. He was very into it. I thought they were going to take off their clothes then and there.
It's until you've experienced it, it's just really compelling. I don't know how to describe it, but
Is Leander a vampire? Do we know that he's not?
I don't know what he is. You see him like now looking at the silhouette on the round window on the second floor of a strange spinning figure carrying a lantern aloft. I have no clue what he is.
Do you know about Mara?
Who?
Never mind.
Well, this was an eventful day.
Yes, it was.
It's been nice traveling with you for these handful of days, Valym.
Yeah.
I'm glad we were able to find a suitable spot for your friend.
Can I tell you the rest of that story from earlier?
Of course.
Part of the reason that I'm so hesitant is when I was much smaller than I am now, I came across a group. They would call themselves thieves, bandits, anything of the sort. They told me that I was talented and skilled, and because I could turn into animals, I was useful. And, well, um, one day I didn't want to be as useful. I didn't want to listen, and I had something that was mine from an animal I caught. And the leader took it away. So I took it back. It was mine. They weren't happy. So I ran, they chased me. We went up to a cliff. They kicked me off into the water. And I almost drowned. That, while I was in the water, I grabbed on to anything I could find. And eventually, something I grabbed turned out to be Lorelei. And he points to the staff on his back, who is a snake cursed to be a staff sometimes. And I went back to that camp with Lorelei. She was very hungry, and I was very mad. That was the first time I'd killed anything. So it's a little bit hard, Breeze, to have experiences like this and not think something in the world wants you dead, or at least hurt. That's why I wish, to no fault of your own, I'd ended up like you.
But it's also comforting to have something in the world that wants you alive.
What's that?
He looks up at the window with Leander's silhouette. Well, I think your friends would be pretty devastated if anything ever happened to you, Valym.
I hope so.
The thought did cross my mind that if you turned into a rare rat on my watch, that they would come after me.
To be honest, they probably wouldn't really know.
You would hide it?
They already think I'm a strange person who doesn't understand what it means to live in the city or among these people. I don't need to give them another reason to think I don't fit in. I'm scared of what they think of me because I don't know what I think of myself yet. So I want to be useful.
Well, I can tell you from personal experience. The types of people that measure you and how useful you are the type of people that threw you from that cliff into the water. Because the people who really matter measure your weight and how you make them feel, not what you can do for them. People like Leander. Crazy.
It's definitely not your ex.
But, it was one dance.
Was it a vertical dance or a horizontal dance?
I will kill you.
That's fine. Breeze. Are you still gonna show me how that clay works?
Yeah.
Okay.
He draws in the dirt with a stick a couple of different swirly rune markings. And he says, if you use the clay in these patterns on your four sort of north, south, east, west, he motions to his limbs, then well, I've just found it makes my lupine form stronger. I feel more grounded. It's almost like I get +1 to my rolls.
That's sounding. It's definitely better to be a wolf than a rat. That's
Seriously, sure. Why would you want to be a rat?
That's because it was small and I have a weird experience. Actually, I have a weird experience with that because Leander picked me up when I was a small rat and then ran off with me. Took me to his house and then hid upstairs, and then when he saw me, he threw me out the window. God, this is horrible.
Breeze just kind of laughs and looks up at the window again, and he's like, he is demented.
Yes.
Just strange.
Yeah. What a weird day.
It's definitely more eventful than I thought.
Does this mean I still could turn into a were-rat?
I don't think so. I think it just means you're more prone to probably don't get bitten again and probably avoid rat-like behaviors.
So no lying.
Or sneaking, I guess.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure he meant actually physically changing into one, though.
Yeah.
There might be other more long-term measures, though.
Could have been anything. It's rats. God, if it changes the way I smell, I give up.
I mean, you smell the same to me.
Okay. Where's your nut, Breeze?
Well, for me, I should probably check in back with my posting.
Yeah.
Make sure my sisters haven't gotten into any trouble. I can look into that for you.
Please.
And see if there's a longer term solution. I've heard of some paladins to the north. They might know something. They're good with this kind of thing.
Thank you. Again.
Of course. If you need anything, I guess you don't really know where to find me, but I
feel like you'd find me pretty quickly.
Yeah. Especially if you stay around this area. He looks at the woods that lie beyond the deadwood to the edge of where Leander's grounds hit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll come find you.
Well, fair winds and happy trails. And he takes like 2 steps and turns back into an owl.
Damn, he's pretty cool. Hate it. He's the Leander, you sly dog.
As you say that, the window up top, just above you, opens, and he says, oh, Valym, good, you're still there. I had a question.
Sure.
Are you coming to my birthday party?
When is
For
it?
truly, your presence would be most welcome. I intend to make a steak and kidney pie. My blood brother has insisted upon a revelry. Normally I celebrate it alone, you see. Oh, such is my woe. But it has been impressed upon me that some type of a soiree is a must.
When?
In 2 days.
Sure.
Truly my heart shall burst forth from my chest and dance a merry jig upon this windowsill. Yes,
That was a good rhyme.
to
Actually.
have you and Hicks and Nim Grimlow and your druidic self, along with Scorpio, all together. I have so many friends. Oh,
Did you say Druidic?
druidic self.
I'm just gonna leave that one alone. I would be honored, Leander.
Oh, I'll see you then. Wear pink. It's a theme party.
And Valym actually, he was. You said the totem was once per day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Valym is going to wild shape into a wolf, and run back to the spot where the were-rats were.
Okay, yeah. It would take you some time, but especially if you use the elevator, you could definitely get there.
Yeah. So he's gonna run back to the where the were-rats were. What a sentence. And they're still lying on the ground, right?
Yes.
So one of them is singed and the other two are on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And Valym gets there and switches back to normal. You didn't have humanity either. And I'm actually going to look through their belongings to see if they had like any gold or coin or anything worth taking.
Yeah. They had actually quite a bit of coin. They had 2 gold.
Oh wow.
Yep. Which is a lot in this world.
Yeah.
As well as like plans for you find a journal that outlines plans for a long con to robbing the restaurant that you went to. Even notes from Tom saying that the snake was growing wise to his presence, and that's why it was agitated. As well as like an account of some of their other scores. In fact, there's actually some wanted posters here as well that have been torn down and collected, neatly tied in a bundle, probably for the purpose of eventually being burned. You also find 2 days worth of rations, a tent, a short sword, 2 bundles of bolts with a single crossbow, and a gold ring, non-magical in nature.
Okay. And the wanted posters are of them?
Yes. Wanted for petty crime.
Were there prices on them?
Yes. Each of them was worth about, 10 silver.
Okay.
I was going to say
Valym
10 copper, and I was like, that's way too low.
Valym takes a moment. It's not worth it. Let them rest. And he starts digging graves. And digging graves to put them in, including one to put the ash. And when he has dropped one of them in, produce flame on to go to ash. And then on the other one, and he'll cover it with dirt after they've been reduced. And he'll sit there for a moment. And in Druidic, he starts to say a bit of a prayer, hoping that as they return to the earth, any corruption that was in their body leaves them, and that they can become something new and something full of life. And I'll start wrapping up the equipment and like tying some of his rope to it so he can just walk his way back.
Beautiful. Can you give me a quick religion check?
Gladly. That's a nat 20 for a 22.
That's information for me to hold on to later.
Horrifying. Oh. Gotcha.
Yeah. That is, as Valym steps away, I'm assuming he heads back into town, and
Yep.
that'll be where we draw this very last one shot to a close.
Oh my god.
Thank you for not turning into a were-rat.
What the hell happened? What the hell happened? Oh my god. Oh my god. My poor boy.
I never thought that stab thing was going to come so full circle, but then it did.
Everything is trauma. Valym's no good, very bad day. it just continues.
What?
They blamed him. They tried to ambush him for feeding a rat to a snake that could have talked. Oh my god. This poor boy.
But he grew so much today.
I know, but not in all the right ways. He killed people again. It's really bad. It's really bad, Jasmine. He just kills people now.
Does he? Are they people or are they were-rats?
He literally, one of them got a hole in him and he looked through and said, "For Tom."
Yeah.
And his weapon was a scythe. He just kills people now. Oh no. He can never meet anyone again. So how was your experience? How was your week, Valym? Uneventful. I met some rats. Hi, Josephine. Are we human or are we rats? Yeah, and I know it was technically a mouse, but I am making it comparable enough that if he turns into either, it's probably bad. God, that damn mouse. Damn it, Ajax. Damn it, I should just talk to the snake.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, that was intense.
That was. I had fun though.
Yeah.
That was really fun. That was a good time. my
Please,
gosh,
like
there's
best
the
friend.
fan art is so good too.
What fan art?
There's here, let me see if I can pull it up for all of us. I think it goes.
Also, I saw a chat being like, Leander didn't even invite Valym to his birthday party.
There's
Leander was gonna forget about me, wasn't he? Valym was just gonna be gone.
wait, what?
They were like, Leander. Some people were like, Leander didn't even invite Valym to his birthday party because they thought I was gonna leave. And I'm like, fine, Leander, you didn't even want me.
You know what's really funny is I had planned for him to be wandering near that part of the wood to invite you, and instead you ended up at his house anyway.
Yo, that's so good.
Yeah,
What?
there's the winking
Oh God,
breeze
it's the worst.
and Dayjax.
Dayjax. Valym.
and a chicken.
Where did the chicken come from?
I just like this posture for Dayjax.
Valym is such a jerk. We hate him. He's terrible. How dare he? This is my sword, Melinda.
Oh my gosh, that's so
I was gonna talk about my child Gim if I got to it. Like,
this was so good. Thank you so much for joining me for this one shot, Gabe. I had
This is
such a good
absolutely
time. I feel like we learned so much about Valym today, and I'm so excited to see where his
Yeah.
story goes.
Yeah, like, oh, the first thing I killed was a chicken. Mine was 4 men.
So many
And
good
even Breeze was like,
conversations.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Even Breeze was like kind of a downer, bro. Just kidding.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was so good. Let's do some sign-offs. Gabe, where can people find you? What are you up to this week?
Hi, I'm Gabe. You can find me at Gabe James Games across the internet. This week, tomorrow, you can actually find me on Renegade Studios Twitch channel. I think around. I'm going to give you time, but I'm going to be playing in an official vampire game, Miami by Night. And you can find me at 7 o'clock, I think 7:30 p.m. PST. Yeah, we had our first session this past Friday. Then we're going to be doing it on Wednesdays continuously. An absolute delight, so much fun. I get to be a charming, beautiful Toreador vampire who charms my way into trouble. Other than that, pretty much most of my schedule is Shikar on Tuesdays, Vampire on Wednesdays, and then whatever else happens. So if you want to see what I'm up to, check out my Twitter. That'll be the best place to get info.
Awesome. I love Vampire. Is this your first time playing, or have you played before?
This is my first time. I actually played. I played Werewolf this past October, and I remember it because we were playing 4 episodes. Our last episode was on Halloween and also a full moon, so it was like made to play werewolf.
Yeah.
And then I got yelled at for going into the woods after our game ended, but that's a different point. So I played werewolf, and then this is my first time playing vampires. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Yeah, I always felt like I was supposed to play vampire because I have the teeth. So
Yep. Yeah.
I was always drawn to vampire. But that's so awesome. I'm so glad we get to play games together. I would love to do a vampire one shot
Let's do it.
with this crew.
It's been decided.
Well, the thing is like I had to bully Balvin to play D&D.
I don't think you have to do that anymore.
Right? Yeah, I'm like, I wonder if I could get him to play. Because I know, obviously, Xander and Josephine.
The man runs a role play server. Like, he's in it now. He's in it now.
We're gonna teach Balvin World of Darkness.
Yeah.
We're gonna teach him.
My name's Vajax.
Vajax? No. That sounds like some type of.
I know what it sounds like. Charming. Hi, I'm Lord Balvin, but today I'm Vajax, your charming vampire king. Look at my fangs. Look at my hair. Look at the drip.
I can't do this. All right, everyone. I'm that bronze girl. If you're here, you know where to find me. Twitter, Twitch, same place. This episode will re-air at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Sunday, and it will hit YouTube the following day on Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And next week, we're all going to be together again. Everyone's together again, which is going to be so much fun. It's going to be so great to have everyone together at the table again. I'm so excited to see everyone. I love y'all. Thank you for supporting the show and being fabulous. We'll see you next Tuesday.